Hello and welcome back to the Dragon Warrior Randomizer Summer Standard Tournament. We are in the bracket stage. We have the second matchup of the bracket so far, second game to be played between BobPineappleMD and Pav. Bob recently won a play-in race to have the opportunity to be in this spot, and Pav was able to secure third place and edge out Scarlet Shadow, who finished very high in the tournament last year. So pretty exciting matchup here. I see we start with 7 strength, 25 HP, no spells. So what the items are in Tangential Throne Room, going to be a very important interest to us and our runners to see whether we're going to be swinging on maybe Ghost and below, or maybe using more exciting means. Both players opting for the standard Z name strength HP build. And we'll have to see the sprites of choice. Looks like Bob is going to be the Prince of Cannock and Pav the Dragon Lord. So the standard choices for our runners. Let's take a look what we've got in the first chest after the king gives his impassioned speech about the Ball of Light. We've got an extra key, the Erdrick's armor, and sure, so you get an extra key and the armor to start. That will make surviving out there quite a bit easier, and maybe the treasury has something good. We'll have to see if they are going to save gold or check the treasury. Joining me tonight in the commentary booth is Archfield, who is also doing the restream, so is unable to be on commentary, but may be ready to speak at any point, so don't be surprised if Archfield jumps in at any moment here.
Hello.
Greetings. Fantastic to see you. Looks like we got a save from Bob to find a token, a cursed belt. We'll have to see what that is. It looks like it was another key, so they get to keep the key. And whatever else they may find in here. I have found the top left item. I did not see what it was. Appears not to be gold.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any gold in the treasury, so this key grind was the only way to get full keys at the start, so the guard kind of helped both of the runners out a little bit, and that middle chest sort of ended up not being the one either of them could grab before they grabbed two others.
Yeah, that is very nice of the NPC to, not often do they help you, but they did, and we've got the flute as well, so we got flute, token, armor to start. Also, extra key. So that is certainly a number of things. We've got another item to find here in Erdrick's Cave, lovingly referred to as the Tablet Cave. Quite a walk, but worth it if there's something good in here.
Yeah, so we have quite a few checks out of the way already. 3 of our sort of unique items off the board, as well as whatever's in this chest, which appears to have been a fairy water, which is actually that's super
amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, very
Wonderful.
good stuff. Like, the armor is awesome, but they only had 7 strength, so both players getting access to a full inventory of fairy water gives them all kinds of options.
Yeah, you can ditch your cursed belt for that last fairy water there. That's what Pav chooses to do. So yeah, plenty of ammunition now, and as long as you find some worthwhile enemies, I mean, your armors, they're already breaking a lot of stuff that's in zone 0, 1, and 2. So this looks like it'll be off to at least a reasonably quick start in terms of the initial levels.
Yeah, definitely. And then we see Bob electing to go straight out, Pav as well, so no one thinking about saving that fairy water, and immediately a town and a cave, and it's coal.
Oh boy. So we've got 5 chest checks out of the way, I guess 7 if you include the throne room where we found the armor. We've got the search spot here, but there is nothing on that spot, so we do have 1 belt already. And that gives us a little bit of information.
Yep, and level 2 looked like it was 4, 5, 7, 9, something along those lines. Got the rainbow drop trade in. I didn't see if they checked the shop and what was available in gold. Did you?
I did not. I did not see anything. Didn't see a shop check there. Pav headed in now, though, so we'll maybe get a look after he finds his nothing on the search spot.
And starting in the swamp, the armor is helping because you're going to have access to, if Zone 0 is specifically, somehow only in those swamp tiles, at least you're going to be able to access it.
Yeah, precisely. Depending on where those zone boundaries end up, you can end up in a situation where you can only access some reasonably fightable enemies with those swamp tiles. But we haven't seen much so far. I feel like that's the west coast over there, so I think Zone 0 probably extends 5 or 6 columns east of Tanagel, if I had to guess.
Yeah, and start like this could have been bad, but with the armor and that fairy water grind really helping them get off to a pretty decent start here as we get Sleep and Repel among some modest stat increases.
Well, that's a Sleep Weak Breath Red Slime. Fortunately, it's not especially dangerous. Bob's going to kill it for level 3, perhaps only because that would be enough experience to get him level 3.
Yeah, 0, 2, 1, 6, Sleep and Repel. Sleep and Repel are both great spells, but the strength being 11, once they run out of these fairy waters, they're going to need to find another source of offense.
One of the worst sources of offense imaginable. They do have cold available. If they want to buy torches, they can do that, but they have to walk all the way back around to that miserable shop where NPCs like to block you and so forth. So that's an option, but it's not a fun one, especially.
They could use one of their keys that they grinded to jump faster.
That's right. They could get to the shop slightly faster by burning a key.
It's gonna happen.
That's what's gonna happen. Bob's doing it. Gonna save himself some steps. I do. I love it. That's great.
I mean, it makes perfect sense. At 12 strength, you're not doing better than torches for offense, and Pav may have the exact same idea and is going to do the exact same thing. I love this.
It's fantastic. Now, interestingly enough, Bob may have checked the shop here because he sold his cursed belt. He did not trade his cursed belt out in that fairy water grind at the start, and there is a copper sword here. Now, I will say, that's 22 attack power. I think torches are probably still your best bet right now, even on 22, but certainly having the copper sword in hand is very helpful.
Yeah, would have been nice to get both options, but it feels really good to have the copper sword, especially if you can chunk down a Magidrakey.
Yeah, and again, like now on 38 defense on level 4 with the armor, they're breaking virtually everything that they're going to see in the starting zones. So, I mean, that's fine too. You can just chip these. But if you're going to the shop anyway, I think, yeah, having both would be nice. You just have some torches on hand. You have sleep too, so if you run into something like that wolf that we just saw on Pav's side, you could even try to put that to sleep and chuck some torches at it, but...
Yeah, and that was the only enemy that they are not defense breaking, like you said, was
yes.
that wolf. So
yeah.
But a pretty close start here. Both players have seen and done pretty much identical things right now, and the XP is 1 apart right now.
Yeah, that's actually, we're actually exactly tied right now. 77 and 77.
And they're in essentially the same spot grinding, if not exactly the same spot.
Yeah, we got kind of mirror image going in here. Bob's going to Exacto level 5 on that Drakey. So we'll see if this shifts anything. Not really, it doesn't look like 2-4-1-2, although we do get Return and Heal More. As neither player has... Yeah, Heal More is very nice to see, but neither player has died yet, so they actually don't have any magic, even if they wanted to cast it. Or cast anything at this point, I guess.
That's hilarious. Heal More is always great. You want to have healing, but at the same time, with a maximum HP of 35, your efficiency would be far better served by heal, but, you love Heal More. Looks like Pav is going to go and refill... do something in the treasury here.
I'm trying to think, the cursed belt was here, so I guess you could maybe grab that and sell it for that copper sword, if you were so inclined, and you get the key back, so it's not really an expenditure of anything except the time that it takes you to grab that.
Yeah, was there a hand axe available as well, or was it just the copper?
I believe so. I think there was a string of weapons there in the shop. I really ought to have been paying more attention, but I'm reasonably certain there was copper sword, hand axe. I just don't remember what was in the sequence after that.
I guess maybe going back in for 2 or 3 more cursed belts isn't the play for 5 more attack power.
Probably not. That feels like a lot of walking for a minimal return.
But yeah, with the previous purchase, Bob is just able to kind of be out here, so it has a modest XP advantage here. But really going to have to see what level 6 has to offer, because if it doesn't give a lot of strength, we're going to be seeing some more of these kinds of enemies.
Some more of these kinds of enemies, and possibly some, 6 or 7 or 8 or however many swing wolf fights like I think we're about to see right here.
Yeah, we are finally breaking the wolf now, so the fights should be okay. And with the spell of Heal More, you will be able to heal back up. So 40 XP will go a long way towards getting not only level 6 but level 7 after.
Yeah, so Bob can be hit here at most for 7 against a wolf. So even on full hit points, breaking this wolf, I'm not 100% sure that he's guaranteed to win. He's likely to win. And he does get this one, and that will give him level 6.
Oh, 13 strength, 8 agility, 19 HP, 3 MP, and Radiant. We can cast Radiant now.
Very nice. Pav did grab the copper sword. So we have that going for us. Bob, taking a look at the shop again, I guess there is a small shield here, so that's another little boost. And that's actually in a range where it's kind of handy to have that on 44. And the difference, I guess, really between 44 and 48 is just you're breaking Druid Lords in addition, but honestly, that's, the kind of enemy that you'd love to run into if you're going to choose to explore. But right now, yeah, not much MP. HP has jumped up a little bit on level 6, but I think probably we'll see some more starting zone grinding from Bob here.
Yeah, the wolf is still, if you can get consistent wolf or somewhat consistent wolf fights, that's going to do a pretty good job to get you to level 7.
Yeah, and the strength boost was such that it's just really nice to see those now. Unfortunately, first death of the seed, it looks like those magicians have DL2 breath, which even with armor, Pav's HP on level 5 is not enough to tank even the lowest DL2 breath roll. So, first death of the seed over 10 minutes in.
Yep, and Pav is going to take on this wolf slower, and Bob is taking on these wolves much better with that extra 13 attack power.
Pav going to the torches here, he had loaded up on those, so that's going to speed this up a little bit. His level 5 wolf fight will take considerably less time than Bob's did.
Yeah, and then he'll be pretty close, and even just a couple of Magidrakes or, some lesser enemies could get you there.
For sure. Bob's going to take a look around to the north here. And I think, based on what we've seen in terms of Zone 0 tiles, I think this could very easily still be North Zone, so he's maybe checking this out to see if there's a little bit better of an enemy set. It looked like the wolf was really kind of the only big-ticket enemy in that East Zone, but there is a skeleton and a droll up here, which, depending on the balance of the other enemies, might prove to be a little bit more efficient.
Yeah, there's the big ticket item in the wolf, but it's around a bunch of other stuff that's not as good, so you might be happy. Especially if there's something like a metal scorpion or maybe a warlock in the zone, as we see the Staff of Rain trade-in cave.
Yep, so both trade-in caves within a screen of start. We have the Rainbow Drop Cave literally on the same screen, but I think that cave is a couple tiles too far north. He's got a green dragon in that zone, so he's going to head a little further south.
Back into the safer sands.
Ooh, Droll's got Hurt More, which you don't like to see. It's got Heal behind that, which you like to see even less. It's kind of unfightable right now. And this actually turns out is not the North Zone at all. That's a Wolf Lord.
The sleep, but it's still, you'd have to get some pretty good sleep procs to, well, I guess with the Heal More. Yeah, you can take this on.
Yeah, you can fight a Wolf Lord. It's not super fast. 37 attack power is still kind of on the lower side. You saw the 5 there. think this is 4-9 right now. Yeah, he rolled a 9. I'm pretty sure it's 4-9.
The 28 defense from the Erdrick's armor essential in being able to do that. 20 defense is a lot different than 48.
Precisely. So Bob just a smidge away from level 7.
Have just hanging out in this northern zone, trying to look for the wolves. Still not quite there.
So Bob wound his way around after finding Staff Cave and has headed back toward the west coast and found Breckenary. Looks like we've got all of the sort of mid to upper tier armor there, both plates as well as the magic armor, and I think a broadsword I saw.
Yep, be a lot happier about that. I mean, you're happy about the broadsword for sure, but with the armor in hand, you know, it's less exciting because there was no shield. Like, a large shield would have been pretty great. But normally you see that half plate and full plate. Those are like achievable items without a gold grind, which is the situation we're in.
Yeah, exactly. No need for armor in this one, though, so only thing of consequence is that weapon. But no gold chest so far, despite having seen 5 checks and a search spot. Didn't have a death necklace and coal, so no access to fast gold so far anyway. Bob's going to continue going up the coast here.
We can get spoiled on these seeds with access to gold chests and buying equipment. If you don't get any of that, it can be difficult to get the broadsword unless you get hurt more.
This will be Hawksness. Not really anything here necessarily that Bob can fight. And there is in fact a red dragon before you even get to the spike tile, and it has weak breath, which is great to see for later. And backing it up with sleep, which is less great.
Feasibly, if its stop spell resistance is low and we had stop spell, you could imagine maybe being able to run away from them earlier than you might otherwise, but I don't know. You never want to see a red dragon.
No, that was in a bad spot, so Bob didn't even really get to peek the spike tile there. But he just has a little bit of experience to get to level 7, so he's going to try to do that here at start before he moves on. In the meantime, while Bob was doing that explore, Pav has mostly closed the gap, and it looks like after this Druid actually will basically be even? Yeah, within 3. So we're a Drakey's breadth apart right now between our two racers.
And they're both about to get level 7 here within a pretty short order.
Bob will get there first on the Warlock. 10 power, no agility, 2 hit points for magic.
10's pretty good, but that still only puts them at 47 total attack power.
Yeah, well, and we might be waiting a little bit till although we're probably pretty close to the attack power finally outpacing the defense, but we've been in a situation where the AP has been much worse. Largely on the strength of that armor, of course, but it's kind of masking the fact that...
Please keep going.
No, I was just going to say it's just masking the fact a little bit that the agility is actually kind of still on the lowish side. Maybe not for the level, but 33 is, certainly not great run chances against most of the enemy set.
Yeah, 33 is the point where it's possible to run from, your mid-tier enemies somewhat reliably, but you get a little bit above that and it feels real bad most of the time. There was a metal slime available for all that low strength earlier.
There was, yes.
We know that neither racer saw it, but I wonder what Bob's thinking seeing that right now. If he's a little bit, just in the back of his mind.
That's really interesting, yeah, that you would see that and say, oh no, I was sub 20 strength for, most of the seed here. But I think at the same time, yeah.
We know that it's all fair and good. Everybody's pretty much on the same page, except Bob has the exploration advantage right now, and Pav was behind on XP, but sticking with this grind has got him a little bit of a lead.
Yeah, Bob's not really found much to fight out here. It's really just been that Wolf Lord in terms of the zones that we've seen so far. He has cleared the southwest corner of the map now, so he's possibly just gonna head straight across. Actually, that gold man is kinda interesting right now, but he decided to fade that.
Yeah, only has the 12 MP, maybe not interested in fighting it to only get the 1. I'm not sure, but that broadsword, I'm thinking about those gold men too.
I'm thinking about a broadsword right now that I've seen it. But at the same time, yeah, I think with the resources where they are, that gold man I think is broken on 48. I'm pretty sure anyway. But yeah, I can understand not wanting to fight it there too if you think you're making some headway on your explorer.
A lot of swamp here, but it doesn't really matter because we both have the armor, so it's never going to be an issue. Could have been a problem with the lowish HP, but also the armor is covering a lot of holes here. Like you were saying, the agility is low, the HP is middling, it's not low. Like, it's fine for level 7, but 56 is not a lot to be out in the world with to a certain extent.
04016 stop spell and outside for Pav on level 8. That was a pretty quick level. He's just been staying at home, sticking to this grind, and you can see Bob's going to crit this Spectre, which will close the gap slightly, but it's about a good 150 experience margin right now Pav has built all of a sudden just by staying here and grinding these starting zones.
Yeah, I think he might be interested in a hand axe here as well. I think he has the money for it.
That's right, yeah. All the way up to 800 gold, in fact.
So I don't think that Pav has seen, it was a Breckenary that had the broadsword, but getting up to 15 is still pretty good advantage here.
Alright, Bob's gone as far east as he can. I think this goes a little bit further. He's not quite at the east coast yet, but he has taken a fair number of screens on his way that direction.
Bob is, he's been on that west coast north, and now he's got this east thing going on. He's seen a fair amount, and there are some decent enemies out there in terms of the Wolf Lord and the Spectre that we've seen. Just gotta stay safe.
Has reached the east coast now, and yeah, hasn't really found anything going this direction yet. So he was all the way in the southwest corner, went all the way along the south coast to the east coast. Hasn't really seen anything yet, but is going to pick up, in all likelihood, level 8 off this Wolf Lord, so is keeping things going in terms of experience. There have been some valuable enemies along his route.
Yeah, his the XP gap is basically 40 right now, so essentially eliminated it. And Pav also decided to not attack a gold man, but I saw hurt, so it might be pretty free to get some gold. Demon Knight is not an enemy we're in a situation to reliably fight right now.
No, to the extent that anyone is ever really in a situation to reliably fight a Demon Knight, but certainly this is not that situation. Pav saw the Wolf Lord here and just stopped dead in his tracks. Hasn't even, I don't think, gone up to see Staff Cave yet. It's just like, I want to see what the rest of this zone is.
Yeah, see the Droll and the Skeleton as well. It's a bummer with the hurt more on the Droll, but the Skeleton's probably not bad, and the Wolf Lord is prime.
Yeah, that's probably the exact correct enemy right now, is that Wolf Lord.
Metal Scorpion is a pretty decent enemy as well, but again, once again, Pav with the XP-minded grind is now back up to like 150 in the lead.
Yeah, Bob has dead-ended. There was kind of a branch that headed northwest here. I believe he's mostly dead-ended it. Might be heading back north here for a quick check.
Metal Slime really bailing Bob out there by not wasting his time in the end of the day. If you're not going to get it, it's better that they just get away right away.
Yes, if you're just run early before you take 7 turns against it and then it flees with 2 damage done. That's actually kind of the best thing.
Yep, and now Pav's suddenly less than 70 XP away from the level 9.
Yeah, it's been really interesting to see this because Bob's done a lot more exploration at this point, really a considerable amount more exploration when you think about the amount of territory he's covered. Hasn't really found much, but Pav just staying put in this zone here Metal scorpions are in this zone
wow.
too. Oh, it's actually really a really choice zone right now.
Yeah, like the only bummer is the hurt more on the troll, but you have the armor, so you should be okay.
Exactly, you can two-shot those very reliably. So even if it hurts more as you once with the armor, you know, you're still fine. You can fight those.
And the armor, once again, just kind of being the thing that makes this seed pretty nice instead of maybe not that nice.
2-0-13-1 hurt for Pav on level 9. It's going to peek this cave, finally. But yeah, I think he found his spot, and once he sees this cave is staff, I wonder if he's even going to continue exploring or if he's just going to stay put here.
Yeah, with the HP, I mean, the HP is up to 69, which is a little bit more to walk around with, but the agility is still 37. You only have 5 heal mores, so you run into one of those red dragons. I guess you might be able to get away. We have stop spell now, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting decision point because of that agility. Really, you're counting on... with 69 hit points in the defense where it is, you can get away from some stuff, of course, and even with the... We saw, as you said, the armor bailing Bob out there against the knight because it was just continually missing its stop spell. Real quick, the Goldman has sleep, actually, which is not a huge deal because it also has hurt and is broken. But Bob's gonna fade that anyway.
Yeah, just not as keen on the broadsword as we both are. Obviously, we are big enjoyers.
Yes, that's really the only thing I'm thinking about is, like in Bob's case, the reason that I would be exploring here if I were Bob, I think I'd probably be taking attacks similar to Pav's for what it's worth, which is not a whole lot. But in this situation, I'd be thinking, I'm exploring because I want to try to find a gold chest, if I feel like I have to explore. But Pav, the zone that Pav has found is really good.
He is deciding to move. We'll find probably Breckenary, I think this is.
I believe this is Breckenary, yes. And he ran into a goldman, a tile outside of town. What a gift this is.
And he did decide to fight this one. He saw the hurt last time, and yeah, so not knowing, but gonna get that broadsword here. The Pav just continues to upgrade the attack power, and we'll see if he's going to go back and sit on a grind or maybe start exploration. But with that broadsword, that grind is even better.
Absolutely. Yeah, we saw the one thing that kind of downgraded it just probably half a notch was that those metal scorpions had heal more. But honestly, the extra 5 attack power from that broadsword, you're 59 now. That means you're, probably one shot against the metal scorpions, maybe 35-40% of the time. So that feels pretty good.
Bob is keeping up though, and he hasn't really been dying. So exploration potentially could pay off huge if there's a bunch of clumped things and important stuff. Maybe Bob finds the Erdrick sword. That could be a huge swing.
Absolutely. But I think Pav saw enough encounters that he wasn't happy with, that he's back to his zone here.
Yeah, with the power of the broadsword. A mighty 59 attack power.
I think that exact tile might actually be zone boundary, unless Pav was just grinding this and it turned out that the green dragon was in the zone the whole time.
Possible. That is possible. But yeah, mostly everything is still available. We've seen, coal with nothing. I'm not sure. We saw the tablet cave.
Mm-hmm.
Breckenary obviously doesn't have anything. We saw some trade-in caves. I don't know if I think everything else is available to us.
Yeah, absolutely everything else, although I will say we've got the edge of a cave and the edge of Charlock on Bob's screen. This is kind of north of the central point of the map.
Yeah, and this is where the exploration could pay off, because Bob isn't really very far behind. I mean, Pav definitely has an XP lead, but it's not something that if Bob is able to get something really advantageous that he couldn't cut into. We've got 2 caves on screen. Swamp South here. Is the dream alive?
Oh, please. Let's see what Bob decides to do. He's going to check the other cave first. So this could just be Swamp North.
The dream is alive. Oh, the red dragon. Come on. Oh, we did it.
Oh, unfortunate.
Great.
For us, at least, I guess. For Bob,
Bob, it's probably good.
He's probably happy to see Grave right now instead of Swamp North.
We'll have to see what the items are up top here. We do still have keys. We've had keys from the start, but we almost forget about it because we just haven't seen anything to use them with. A fighter's ring is pretty good.
Fighter's ring is pretty nice. Bob breaks 50 attack power for the first time in the seed. There's a death necklace. And an herb. So, nothing of consequence at the moment.
And see if Bob is going to dive here. It looks like he was maybe on the path. I think they have outside, so yeah. I think
They
this
do,
is
yeah.
a dive.
Pav making short work of this level.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what level 10 has to offer, because at the same time, if level 10 has like Hurt More or, something crazy, that would be a pretty big advantage for Pav.
Yeah, exactly. I think if you're looking for an inflection point here, either Bob pulling Sword from his exploration or Pav pulling Hurt More from his grind would be huge, but 21 power also pretty big, 203. So nothing else there, but a big power jump. So with that broadsword now, Pav is on 80 attack power all of a sudden and runs into a Magiwyvern, which he can kill this. Well, okay, it has sleep. And it has deal too, so...
Oh man, Wombo Combo Magiwyvern.
Never mind, forget I said anything. Not amazing, Magiwyvern.
I missed what Grave 4 was, but it doesn't appear to have been anything important.
Gold chest, yeah. Bob is tantalizingly close to broadsword money.
We'll have to see if this is the moment where Pav's just going to start pushing out and looking for stuff, able to swing a little bit more effectively on some things now.
Yeah, 69 hit points. Got Erdrick's armor. Got 51 defense. There's some, mid to upper tier enemies he can fight. We know now that the Magiwyvern's not exactly on that menu, but there's a lot of other stuff that could be, and certainly I think we saw Knights on Bob's side only so far, but those have stop spell what appears to be a solid 75% of the time. Bob took a swing at that one and only did 4 damage, but he could fight that potentially with Hurt if it was just very heavy stop spell, but he got a melee there, so that maybe put him off a bit.
Yeah, hurting Knights is it's a pretty fun pastime, especially if you're lucky enough to get some sleeps on him too, and then you're way underleveled for it. It feels real good, but it's actually kind of a gamble.
It does, and they have a bunch of hit points, so you can maybe fire 4 hurts and still not even kill it. So,
but when it works, it feels great.
It does. You feel very powerful when you manage to pull that off.
Getting the business here from an Axe Knight, but Bob should be able to heal more and eventually get a Mercy Rule out of this.
Alright, chest 5 is the Silver Harp, so we got a Vanilla Harp situation.
No, it was an important item to find, but it's not going to help offensively, I guess. But it is. It's nice to get that.
It is nice to get that. We know we've already seen both trades, and as mentioned before, they're kind of both right at start, so it's not really going to help your routing per se, unless you clear the rest of the map before you find that. But yeah, that's actually a pretty good get for Bob in that situation. And it does kind of narrow down. We've seen, I guess, one Cursed Belt and Coal was empty, and we know where Hawksness is, so we're still looking for stones, and we have the Death Necklace and Flute on Bob's side, so we're really only looking for sword and stones, right?
Yes, that is correct. Pav also found a metal slime in that south region, kind of right where Bob did, and I wonder if he's having the similar thought. Like we had no strings for the longest time. I wonder if Bob got one, but we know that nobody did.
So Bob is shy of the broadsword. Just shy of the broadsword. And doesn't have enough stuff to sell.
Yeah, we'd have to sell the death necklace.
We'd have to sell the death necklace. He could sell, 15, like, right? How many keys would you have to sell to get broadsword money? I don't think that's a good idea, but it's kind of a funny thought.
Oh, is it like 20? You get 26 gold for selling a key?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because it goes by the rim price, I believe.
So it would have been, what, 3?
Yeah.
Or 2 keys. 3.
2. You could sell 3. That. I think that 2 plus the fighter's ring, I think, gets you there. Maybe.
But Bob is going to go and trade in that harp. Hard-earned.
And now we see Pav taking essentially the same route that Bob did on his initial exploration trip. He went into that southwest corner and is now following the south coast eastward. There's not going to be anything over here, but I will say just a quick check on where we are experience-wise, and Pav really has expanded pretty greatly his experience lead up to about 800, which, given it's a Hurtmore hasn't showed up yet as of level 10, that's a pretty substantial experience lead.
Yeah, with the extra strength, just making Pav able to not only take more fights, but take faster fights for the things that Bob is also able to take.
Exactly.
Keep seeing these metal slimes, but not one of them has fallen yet.
What was
amazing?
That? Excellent dodge from a metal slime. So, for the record, the metal slime evasion is 1 out of 64. So that was a 1 out of 32, which is a crit chance, followed by a 1 out of 64. The metal slime was like, not today.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, whenever you hear the crit on a metal slime, you never expect to miss.
Yes. Plenty of other things. You hear the crit sound against a demon knight, you're like, okay, that missed. You basically just assume that's what happened. But a metal slime, you would not think that outcome is something that could even happen.
The game is just feeding Pav a bunch of enemies that are easy to kill and going to give, varying levels of decent XP.
Yeah, Bob's got his broadsword. Yeah.
Still needs level 10 though. That level 10 20 attack power is it's pretty nice.
Yeah, that level 10's like just now you're dual wielding the broadsword. You can just get another one.
Almost a level 11 here for Pav, so we'll have to see if that comes with something. Again, Hurtmore is out there and would be a pretty big improvement. Bob's going to go check the spike.
I will say there's an Axe Knight and a Red Dragon, which didn't mean to summon the Red Dragon, but there is a Red Dragon in the Hawksness Zone that we saw earlier. If the spike tile is kind of a clunker, the Hawksness Zone itself is not shaping up to be especially shabby for kind of your mid-late game grind.
Yeah, we have Stop Spell. Surprised we haven't... I'm not sure that I've seen one. I don't know if it has any resist or not.
Yeah, I haven't seen a test Stop Spell against the red yet. I don't think.
But if you can get that Stop Spell to land, then the Weak Breath makes it, I think, not with 61 attack power, but eventually, potentially, a fightable enemy.
Yes, on level 10 you like that better. It's still a slog at 80 attack power, but if you've essentially neutralized, if you Stop Spell it, the sleep is off the table, it doesn't appear to swing very often, so yeah, I mean, that's definitely fightable. You've got the Heal More to bail you out if it does melee, so you can definitely take the reds if you want to, and that's a big chunk of experience kind of at the levels where we are right now, but we do have Garanham on Pav's side.
Yeah, I don't think that Bob was into this one, so we get the 3 chests back here, and if it's mountain underneath, we'll get 5 more.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure where this was, because Pav did still seem to be in sort of that same explorer chain that Bob had followed in the very opening stages of his exploration, so I'm not sure where we missed this, but we'll take a look at the train when we head outside, maybe.
See if there's a large shield here, and there is not.
A large shield would be real nice. We know there's no gold grind at home. We've known that since the beginning of the seed. So large shield is going to be your best bet for shield defense in this
defense,
one.
like, matters a lot.
It matters
so much.
It matters a ton, particularly pre-hurt more. In a seed like this one, that extra 6 defense is massive if you could find a large shield. Belt number 2, so the last 2 search spots that we haven't seen yet, those are both occupied. Well, I guess we've seen Hawksness technically, we haven't seen the spike or the search yet, but...
It is indeed mountain underneath.
That's interesting. So, correct me if I'm wrong. Does that second belt mean that we know sword and stones have to be on those search spots?
Yeah, I think so, because we haven't seen either of them, and that's all that it could be.
Pav hasn't been to Grave yet, so he doesn't have the Death Necklace and doesn't have that piece of information, so he doesn't quite have all of the pieces of that puzzle. So from his perspective, he's looking for this. If you stumble into the Fighter's Ring, that's nice too, but of course that's in Grave also. So this is a reasonable check for Pav here. He just doesn't know it's, I think, going to be literally nothing at this point. I don't think anything important can be here.
No, you might get some torches, fairy waters, gold, or herbs. Maybe a key.
Sundry, I think. Sundry items.
Maybe they'll get a... I think he bought a dragon scale. He might find a dragon scale.
I think that the fact that he bought a dragon scale kind of guarantees that there's a dragon scale down here, doesn't it?
Yeah, usually it's in Garenham itself, though, but since it's connected, it makes sense to wait until the end, as there's a Dragon Lord Breath on the gold.
Yikes, don't like that, but do have the flute, so he's going to guarantee, or at least try to guarantee, he can get to this 5th chest. Has plenty of MP left, so...
And he's 4 XP away from level 11 right now.
Yeah, he's just been hanging out there on 2171 for quite a while now, but just hasn't gotten, you know, the one chump encounter he needs to get to 11.
So yeah, being able to kill the Hawksness spike and being able to make it to Cantlin seem to be the most important things right now.
Absolutely. Still kind of have, really, I think, the northern half of the map yet. We haven't seen much of it yet, so Cantlin could be out there anywhere, but we already know where Hawksness is, I think. Well, I should say, Bob knows where Hawksness is. I'm not 100% sure that Pav does.
Yeah, I don't think Pav has seen it yet, but we get heal and some modest 2s and 3s and 0s on the stat increases.
I think Bob threw a stop spell on the red there and missed.
We still have 39 agility at level 11.
Yeah, the 39 agility was, you know, that was acceptable on level 7. Now that it's level 11, that's starting to look kind of crummy. Ooh, and I think we have, perhaps, a new town here on Bob's screen. He went through Swamp Cave.
And it's going to be something we need. Is it going to be Cantlin guaranteed? Have we seen everything? It could be Rim, I guess.
It could be Rim. It is Cantlin.
Yeah, this is huge, as we know that the cords are going to be one of either the stones or the sword.
And Bob sees the last thing he might possibly be shopping for in the sea. There was a large shield there in the top shop, so he's gonna grab a dragon scale and probably check these coordinates. And, well, okay, he's gonna buy some radishes first. If you can get your groceries done while you're doing this other stuff, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about efficiency, especially in this game. Any time save that you can muster is going to be an advantage, especially if you can do it consistently. I'm going to stock up on herbs. Bob is going to love getting to level 10 and getting that extra strength, but Pav up 1k XP right now.
Yeah, which again, when you're dealing in a hurt more situation, 1,000 experience is maybe not a big gap. But here, 44 minutes into this one, going on melee strength, that's a pretty big XP gap.
There is a metal slime kill for Pav, so 255, and in terms of XP, the rich get richer here, and getting even closer to level 12. Maybe there will be some agility, maybe some more HP.
Oh, I think this will be Rim. It's our last town there, just a little ways north of Cantlin.
We've seen Swamp South on Bob's side. It was just south of Grave, so the princess is at least located, should either want that for their search.
Correct. And I think Bob found this entire territory. I think he went through Swamp Cave to get here, so it's probably not the north side entrance is probably not far from here either.
I'm going to refresh some keys here, and then we'll see what's behind the 2-key door. It's not going to be something good.
I don't think we've seen a pair of wings yet, so I'm going vanilla wings for Rim Chest.
I think that sounds pretty good. I'm going to go with the torch. I feel like, why not?
Bob's in a situation where he hasn't seen the second belt yet, so both Bob and Pav are missing a piece of information that would let them know for sure that both of the search spots are what they need. Bob has the coordinates, Pav hasn't seen Cantlin or Hawksness yet.
Pav returning home, and I'm not sure if he dead-ended that area or has something else on his mind, but I'm going to top up here in coal and start from fresh.
There's our 21 power for Bob. So he's up to 82 now. We'll see which one of us was correct, or if we are both total failures at guessing the rim chest. Oh.
This is the latter.
I can't say I'm surprised.
No, not at all. I have a notoriously bad track record for guessing what the starting throne room and other items are going to be. The farther we go in levels, the more likely it is we're going to learn Hurt more, which I think will accelerate the seed even further.
Yeah, Bob's gonna, with that strength, has a significantly improved chance to perhaps take down this spike here, so he's gonna check the swamp spike. Possibly intent on a princess rescue. This is that DL2 golem, so you have the flute, but
that's not great.
It's not great.
That's not great.
It's not great. I will say it is certainly not the grind. To my knowledge, we have not. Bob's attempted to check the Hawksness spike a couple of times now, but I still don't think we've quite seen that yet.
Yeah, I think he died to Red Dragon both times, or at least the last time, but I think it was both times.
I think it was both times. And actually, he's just gonna, looks like he's gonna start pacing this out, so I will say he has seen, because he went the route he did in his initial exploration, he has a good sense of the fact that this is definitely First Continent. It just remains to be seen whether he has to kind of go south through that swamp area first before he gets here, or if this just goes around, then it's actually probably a pretty straight count.
Yeah, maybe it's not so bad, and you can always hope for some landmarking. If not, is Pav's going to get into the top of Grave, get the death necklace on the fighter's ring, and then we'll see if he dives. I imagine he will. And Grave 5 had the silver harp.
Grave 5 had the silver harp, and that would be... Once he sees that, then he knows... now, granted, he's checked most of the chests in the game already at this point, but if he decides to dive, and it looks like he's going to, Then once he gets the harp, he'll know that whatever is left is search spots, so long as he's been tracking his belt and key item situation.
Yeah, and if Hawksness isn't too far away from here, I wonder if Pav won't run into it, and maybe we'll get a chance to see what's on the spike. Taking no chances with that golem, saying, I will keep my HP.
I think that's probably a pretty good call. If you're intent on finishing this here, like we said, golems you're not usually worried about running from, but again, 39 agility on level 11, so just spend the 6 or 8 seconds on that flute play and beat feet.
We'll see the gold chest here in number 4. And all Pav really wants right now is a large shield, I guess, so...
And he's got enough money to open a large shield shop, should he so choose.
This knight is a level 12 with 8, 10, 0, and 20 MP. That's pretty nice.
That's a pretty nice level. You like to get the resources there. Still no hurt more as of level 12, but with all those heal more casts now and 93 attack power with the broadsword, the strength is actually looking pretty good right now. If they had Erdrick's sword on this level, our racers on level 12 would have 113 attack power, so that's kind of, you're inching toward go. Still have a ways to go with resources and agility, but, plenty of time for that to pick up too.
And the 10 agility feels pretty great, because the difference between 39 and 49, while not huge, is very appreciable.
To answer the question in chat, if I'm understanding it correctly, the number of things is basically fixed. The only time that things will shuffle around is based on the number of search spots that are occupied. If there's a search spot occupied, there will be a cursed belt in the chest pool. If there's not a search spot occupied, that cursed belt will be replaced with a gold chest. So, talking about torches, there'll be 3 torches out there, there's 2 fairy water, 2 wings, 3 keys, so on and so forth. Those are all fixed, but the only fluctuation in that total comes into play when there are cursed belts, either in play or not in play based on search spot allocation.
Ab does pick up that harp down there in the 5th chest at the bottom of the grave, and we'll see what he chooses to do after this, but has the information now, or should have, that the search tiles have the stones and the sword respectively. And 1400 XP, like you said, wouldn't be the biggest deal if we had hurt more, but we don't. We're swinging with a broadsword with 82 and 93 attack power, so still a pretty appreciable lead here on XP for Pav, and the exploration lead is closing.
Yeah, not much left here. Bob's out of MP, and I think has had to follow the south coast here. It looked like maybe, I know he stopped counting actively. It's possible that he took a landmark where he kind of stopped and is now trying to find that area of the map, but looks like this Axe Knight's going to send him home before he gets a chance to take a peek around the corner here.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Looking like this count is going to be kind of a pain to get done, on your own accord.
Yeah, I think it's a sketchy one, and I'm not sure. Just being 63 east, given we're on the west coast, that means it's kind of centrally located on the map. And I'm not 100% sure, based on the exploration we saw to the southeast, whether or not that landmark is really going to be achievable. It might be second continent. I don't think we've confirmed single continent or separate continents one way or the other, so that's kind of up in the air from our perspective in terms of where those coordinates will end up.
Looks like both racers are in the similar part of the map. I think that is Brecon area that was on both of their screens here.
Correct. So if Pav just heads a little further north, he'll see Hawksness for the first time.
And we might be able to see what is on the spike and then potentially know if it's stones or sword.
Bob running into this Wombo Magiwyvern, and... Oh, got a run fail there. Again, the agility's poor on level 10, so... 39 you're reasonably likely to get away, but... did not manage it that time.
I've also running into the red dragon here in Hawksness. I don't think he's tried the stop spell. Here we see. It did hit.
Did land it. So this is definitely fightable. I've got the stop spell stopped. He can take a swing at this if he wants to, but I haven't seen relatively what the percentage of... That was one of the more protracted fights we've seen against a red, so I'm not 100% sure on the percentages of those red dragon abilities just yet.
We got a green on the Hawk Spike, so definitely achievable for our racers.
Yeah, we've seen enough of these, I think, to say there's probably no abilities here unless it's got the sneaky heal more. Haven't really seen anybody fight one of these, I don't think, to the end just yet.
They're both fighting right now. Bob gets the first kill. Very close to level 11 now. Pav right there.
Pav gets the second and the search spot, which we know is either stones or sword, and that is stones. So that places the sword on the overworld coordinates. And
that gives Bob a chance to maybe get there first and then get on a nice grind, potentially.
Entirely possible. Speaking of nice grinds, we do know both spike tiles now. And that green dragon looks pretty decent right now for its repeatability. But certainly you can fight reds as long as you land your stop spell. Let's assume... We've only seen a couple of stop spell tries so far, so let's proceed under the assumption that it's got decent stop spell resist. If it starts to look like you're not hitting your stop spells more than about 50% of the time, then it's a little bit sketchier, but you still have, a decent amount of margin with that weak breath behind it, so... We'll kind of to wait and see here what happens by the time both racers have finished their homework, or if they decide to try to grind before that, what they'll look to do for levels.
Yeah, and the defense being where it is, even with Erdrick's armor, 58 is not really where you want to be. So if if you do end up getting swiped by that dragon, it's going to hurt.
Yeah, you were talking about the large shield being pretty big, and Pav has stayed alive so much that he can die multiple times and still have large shield money, whereas when Bob found Cantlin, that's the only place in the seed so far where we've seen a large shield. And so when Pav finally arrives in Cantlin, he should be able to grab one of those, and Bob just might... it's out of the way enough that it's possibly not worthwhile to go for it, but I guess it is at least decently close to Swamp Cave, so that's another point in Pav's favor here, in all likelihood.
Yeah, just gonna wonder if you have to go to the second continent to get the cords or not. Maybe it would make more sense to go back there, but unclear as to exactly where the cords are.
Alright, Bob making his third run at the Hawksness Spike. He has tried to get there on 2 separate occasions and has been thwarted by Reds previously.
He'll definitely be able to fight this green dragon and know for sure that the sword is on the coordinates.
Of interest, Pav was down to 1 key. I realized last time he had his menu open, so I was curious whether he was going to stop in, but that death was a convenient opportunity for him to restock before he heads out to find Cantlin.
Yeah, that's great. You don't want to get into Cantlin and discover that you have accidentally... maybe you go through the swamp cave and rescue the princess, and then all of a sudden you don't have any keys. Yeah,
it's a miserable place to be, so that was a heads-up play there. Just take the opportunity, go ahead and refill those keys. He hasn't seen... Remulder yet. That's of course up a little bit further north of Cantlin, so they're kind of close to each other in an area near the exit of Swamp Cave. Whether or not that's a separate continent or not sure yet, but that's kind of his situation. It looks like Bob is going to maybe stick on this green dragon for a little bit.
Yeah, been tough to get XP, so can understand just wanting a repeatable fight that you feel like you can win. Pav making sure to get that Staff of Rain to be eligible for the Rainbow Drop.
Yep, takes care of his trades in short order. So it'll be our first Rainbow Drop grab of the seed, just shy of the hour mark.
So all that's left to do for Pav is to get the coordinates and find the sword therein. And then grind to an appropriate level.
Yeah, grind and go once you get the sword here.
Bob has seen Cantlin, has the coordinates, doesn't have the sword yet, but if it takes Pav a long time to find Cantlin, that is the opportunity right now for Bob.
And I did see Pav kind of went this direction. I don't know that he's seen... Yeah, I think he just wanted to confirm that this area was clear. He did walk past Swamp Cave, and that's the most expeditious route, I think, to get to Cantlin. It just hasn't headed through Swamp Cave yet.
Yeah, and if it is the second continent, that will be the only way to get there. So the longer you wait to do that could be potentially problematic.
Absolutely. Pav's just 10 experience points shy of the level right now.
I think that this is just to make the bridge and go, yeah.
Yeah, so that was the drop fake out. Is this the other end of Swamp? Yes, it is. Okay, so single continent, and Cantlin and Rim are just north of there. And it looks like the map just is going to potentially throw Pav that direction in short order, but we'll see how far this goes east.
We got some craggy mountains here, but they're not blocking the path.
Actually, that's a big chunk of unexplored territory for Pav, so this might draw him this direction for quite some time.
Unfortunate.
Is using Repel, though, and it's getting rid of about half the enemy set or so on 58 defense, so maybe this won't throw too much of a wrench in the works.
And the things that are left, I'm probably still happy to fight most all of them.
Exactly. Yeah, it's actually a pretty comfy spot for Repel right now. You're getting a lot of quality fights on 58 defense.
Yeah, without Hurt More and with the HP and the strength where they are and the defense as well, those enemies are very favored. But here we go. We've got 2, 4, 1, 7, no spells.
Hurt More is still the only spell that is absent, and we know we've got at least 1,500 more experience to try to find it. Oh, you know what? This is the only cave we hadn't seen so far, which is stones. We know there can't be anything of consequence there. It is just a gold chest.
We got getting a little bit baited to go this way is Pav, but hopefully can get back to that Swamp North area as we see Bob trade in for his Rainbow Drop. And it's really just the difference between having the coordinates right now and not.
Yep, that's it.
Still a pretty decent XP lead, but Bob bit into it a little bit. It's down to 1,200 after that Green Dragon excursion.
Mm-hmm. And then that's kind of the way forward here for Bob. If he can get his hands on that sword, and with that sword head back and start grinding either reds or greens, really the Hawksness Zone or the Hawksness Spike are kind of the two plays right now. Those look like the best places to be in the seed for experience once you have the requisite resources and stats for it.
Pav missing a sleep and then not being able to run away from this Wombo combo Magiwyvern.
Yeah, actually one of the scarier enemies in the seed right now is that Magiwyvern.
It always feels bad to miss a sleep on an enemy where, the meta is to sleep them.
Yes. It's kind of like, really? Did I really just miss a sleep on a Magiwyvern? I guess. In the grand scheme of things, it is, just a 1 in 8 chance to miss, but 1 in 8 still happens often enough that it shouldn't be shocking when it happens.
Yeah, definitely not. It, missed lots of Hurt Mores on Green Dragons, so anyone that Hurt Mores Green Dragons can understand what a 1 in 8 is.
Yes, you know what that feels like.
I was goofing around the other day and playing a seed, and I tried to sleep a demon knight so it could kill me, and I landed the sleep.
Oh, that's great.
So we're still out here. We've got differing missions. Bob needs to get to that landmark that he set up or find a way to kill that golem to get the princess. And Pav needs to go back to Swamp North and then head north to get those coordinates.
Yeah, and I think he's almost exhausted sort of the east, basically everything except the direction that he needs to go. It's going to be one of those moments for him, I think, when he finally gets there that he just kind of goes, oh, you're kidding, this was just sitting right here if I'd gone this direction, but it's one of those arbitrary exploration choice things that you have no control over. You just decide to go one direction, and there's Kalen.
Yep, and finally going to get there, so not a huge disaster here for Pav.
No, and he's going to have the large shield opportunity here, so he'll pick that up. +6 defense versus the small shield that he had been carrying. He'll be able to get the coordinates, and then you have kind of a choice to make, whether or not you're going to try to walk this out, or, like you said, whether you're going to try to force your way through that DL2 golem in Swamp Cave.
And unfortunately, the extra level only giving 1 extra hit point for Pav, so not really getting a buffer to potentially, just go for broke and use all your heal mores to kill that golem.
Yeah, you absolutely could. Got the flute, so, for all you know, you can put it to sleep and then it just doesn't wake up. Got outside, so you don't have to worry about that part of it. All you need is enough resources to walk to the princess and rescue her, and outside, and you're doing fine. But it looks like Pav's going to cast Return here, so that's a signal of his intent, because the Swamp North entrance was just there outside of Cantland, so he's going to try to walk this out.
And we have seen Bob struggle with, getting these cords without the princess, so we'll have to see if Pav as well is going to have a hard time.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like that's even what Bob is still attempting to do here. He's following this river with some intent, just, I think, looking for that landmark possibly that he took earlier. I'm just not sure where it is. It's kind of in that mushy middle part of the map. There's not really much in the way of landmarks. DL2 from a werewolf? I don't think we'd seen that yet.
I was about to comment, I haven't seen it yet, so yeah, that is news. So there's 2 enemies at least now that can breathe on you in Charlock.
Oh, and I think Bob found his landmark finally.
That's great news.
That is excellent news. Pav looks like he might be doing about the same thing here, just kind of dwelling in that swamp tile for a moment. Get a beat on his landmark. And look at that, first search for Bob. He's first to sword, and he's going to be able to go start grinding. So now the clock is ticking.
Yeah, absolutely. Have to see if Bob's going to go straight back to Hawksness and fight that green dragon, or try his luck with the golem. I imagine it's going to be the green.
I imagine green, and 113. The green's a reasonably efficient fight. It's repeatable. If you catch a red on the way in, try your stop spell, and if you hit it with sword, you're in much better position now to just take that out without having to really use much in the way of resources. So there's definite opportunity in Hawksness one way or the other. We'll just kind of see which way our runners decide to go with that.
Yeah, being able to get that chords count done has put Bob in a position where he's essentially done but for the grinding. Doesn't have the large shield, but in a position to get the level to go and maybe be into Charlock before Pav here.
I believe that's the same general area where Bob picked up his count earlier. Where Pav is right now.
So there are some enemies. The Wombo combo is on a non-Charlock enemy, so we don't have to worry about the Wombo combo. Although, I guess we've seen mostly weak breath from the Sleep Red Dragon, but you never know. Even if it's 75%, those 25s can come out of nowhere. So it could happen, but the Golem Dragon Lord Breath, the Werewolf Dragon Lord Breath, we don't have a lot of HP. We don't have a high HP total on the go level. It could be a dangerous dive.
For sure. Even with the sort of dynamic of these tournament edition seeds with the fourth run is guaranteed, if you don't, if you're just kind of fringe HP go, you can still find yourself in some trouble, especially, as you said, got some enemies there. The agility is not high, so there's no guarantee even with large shield. In fact, it's reasonably unlikely that with large shield you'd be breaking something like a werewolf, so you're going to have to contend with those, as well as some enemies that we haven't seen so far in the seed, like, for instance, if we've seen an Armored Knight. I don't think I recall one of those for either of our players, so there's still some unknowns, too, that could yet jam things up a little bit toward the end game.
I'm going to see the Golem here. I'm not sure if he knows about the deal 2 or not, but I'm going to flute it.
I think he found out in Grave, if I recall correctly.
Oh, right, yeah. And to go along with your point as well, if we don't get big boosts in kind of all of these things, if the HP is marginal and the agility is still low, we could be taking 50 to, 53 maybe damage from maybe 54 from the Dragon Lord, depending on what we get here. So that is something to consider.
Yeah, exactly. And, it's kind of the combination of things that can create a storm sometimes. If you're thin HP and you're low agility, that's kind of a big problem. If the HP shoots up to, into the 140s or whatever, it's less of a big deal, but yeah, there's so much grinding left to do. It seems likely that, a lot of these stats will get covered up eventually, but I guess we'll see. Bob's into his grind now. He has chosen, looks like he's going to take this green, and the gap is around 700 as Pav rescues Princess Gwaelin. We'll return her and then try to find the sword.
Yeah, so the Princess Rescue going to take some extra time here, and I think Bob surefire to get ahead on XP at this point.
Yes, it's basically a lock. He'll pick up level 13 on that green, and then it will just be kind of measuring where we're going to end up. This is moderately resource intensive because the HP is pretty bad. The defense isn't great for Bob right now, especially with just the small shield. He's going to have to burn a heal more after every one of these greens.
I've seemed to take care of the Golem without too much trouble. I wonder if he'll think about going back and trying that or going for the green.
That's interesting. Once he has sword, you've got, 115 attack power, level 13. I don't dislike it. I think I would probably, before I kind of went that direction, I think I'd try the reds first and just really figure out what their stop spell resist is like.
Yeah, that's a good point. You'd much rather fight the red than a Golem. And if the red feels bad, you can go straight to the green. So we're inching ever closer to Bob taking the lead here, but Pav is making pretty decent progress with this repel. Not a lot of high-tier enemies out here.
No, I think we just saw some werewolves and axe knights along this route before, and honestly, the axe knights you'd be happy to see right about now. Those you can fight on your way. But got a wizard too, actually. Not sure that we've seen many of these this seed.
Yeah, you'll have to use some healing resources, but it's hard to pass up 120 XP.
Yeah.
And Bob had taken the lead. We'll take it again after this green dragon, but Pav did sneak it back with that wizard. Oh, maybe we'll keep it.
Maybe we'll keep it for the time being. Also factored into this, Breckenary is pretty close, so you don't have to worry about your refills. But Bob is down to 1 heal more left, so he can at most take 1 green dragon. And then it's not necessarily guaranteed that you'll actually get out of Hawksness alive.
Yeah, ambushes and misses and all those kinds of things all play factors into how these... You can be on the identical grind as your opponent, doing the identical things, and it can be a little bit different.
I am not sure that Pav is actually in the right area for his count.
Yeah, there was definitely some desert around where Bob was.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Bob is now out in front. We'll have to see what the healing cycle does, but in good position to be in command of this race.
He's going to try to push it here. He is very close to level 14. He would need 2 greens to get there, but it looks like maybe he's just going to Death Warp instead of heading back to Breck.
Yep, makes perfect sense. Don't have to walk there and back. So
yeah. Yeah, I think based on their relative position, this is just having to walk straight from Tanager is probably about the same distance as walking to Breckenary and then back from Breckenary. And you don't have to worry about the encounters on the way too, so.
Yeah, might not want to save a little bit of MP just in case something happens, so just maybe trying to be a little bit more efficient. So Pav is back to the initial place and heading in a different direction now.
Bob is headed to the... He's in the overworld, Bob is.
Maybe going into Charlock to see what's in there or what to fight, or...
Potentially. He is going to put down the drop.
Overworld Red Dragon here that Pav is fighting, which is great, and just putting down the bridge as well, so both players have put their bridges down.
We do... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say the X-Knight should keep Bob ahead, but, Pav's still keeping in there with fighting stuff on the overworld. So the not being on the spike is definitely allowing Pav to keep pace here.
1/4/21/14, still no hurt more, but that's a significant boost to the hit points and magic points.
Agility staying low. Ambush, sleep, attack.
Not the most likely sequence from this red, I don't think. But is a thing that can happen, and the back attack, certainly on 57 agility, still moderately likely.
Well, it has been hitting some of these stop spells, so I think if we've seen it miss, it does have resist, but it doesn't appear at this point, unless we've just been getting lucky, like it's the worst resist.
Yeah, still a reasonably small sample, but yeah, it's likely not toward the end of its maximum of the range, which I think is, I want to say 9 out of 16 is max Red Dragon stop spell resist, but I think that might actually, I don't remember.
I looked at it recently, and that is what it said when I looked last.
Granted, if you're talking about looking at it and you looked at it in the manual, then it's entirely possible that I just got it wrong in the first place.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm pretty sure that's the case.
This might be the right way to get to where you need to go, and it makes sense, even with the princess, Pav having a difficult time locating the spot, and Bob as well. It took a while to figure out exactly how to get to that location.
Yeah, this was not easy to track down, even with the GPS. It's just kind of, I think there's only one route that goes there. Yeah, it's beta.
There's like 3 paths that you could choose, and I think you had to go through like a middle path to get there.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, the middle of this map is kind of a mess, but I'm pretty sure he's actually really close to the coordinates now. 1264, yeah, he's just a couple tiles away. Ah, that's what it was. Yeah, so Bob was headed back to Cantlin, grabbed the large shield.
Fantastic. Love to see it. Although, at the same time, I mean, it might matter a lot with the way things
It
are
might.
right now. So it's
It
hard to
might
tell.
actually be a pretty big deal. And Caitlin was not very far away from Charlock, as it turned out. And I'm not sure that Bob knew that, because the way that he accessed Caitlin the first time was that he had gone through Swamp Cave, and he might have missed Charlock entirely on his first trip. So that might have been the cause for his, explore there in between his grind phases, was just to try to see where he was going. But
Pav gets breathed on by the golem and takes 46 with 45 HP. And looks
Ouch.
like Bob might be heading to the golem as well. It is essentially tied exactly right now, which is wild.
It really is, given that these two runs have been extremely divergent in terms of when they've chosen to do things, how they've chosen to go about it. Yeah, the fact that we're sitting here approaching grind and go mode, well, I mean, we are grind and go, just looking for stats now, and we're, 40 experience points apart, essentially, is pretty wild.
We don't even have hurt more or anything. We've just been swinging swords. And the lead is going back and forth at this point. This is what you would hope for out of a tournament bracket match, so this is very exciting.
Yeah, very close. Should be an exciting finish, although I guess it remains to be seen how this golem grind goes for Bob.
With the extra HP, I still wonder, do you favor the desert grind either out here or in Hawksness for the red, or you go for the spike green?
I think on 14, I think it's, if it were just the red, I would say maybe take the spike, because you're still looking at, you can plow through 3 green dragons pretty quickly. That's 390 experience, or actually 405, right? And then the red's 350. It is mostly free, but you have to spend a turn on stop spell unless you want to get slept. The Hawksness zone itself does also have an Axe Knight there, and you can fight those. And it does also have Demon Knights, which you can fight too. So it kind of depends, I guess. I think there's a couple of different options, and I'm not sure there's much to separate them, but I do think the Golem in Swamp is probably a distant third in my mind right now.
Well, we see that Pav was walking back and forth in this desert, so if he sticks around here, we'll see what else is here with the red dragon. It's that same zone that you mentioned.
I think it might be, we see the Demon Knight here too, so this could just easily be the same zone that's in Hawksness, in which case this is, 15 fewer steps to the south, so may as well just fight this zone here if you're going to do it.
Yeah, and we'll have to see what the encounter rate is, but could be pretty lucrative to be here.
Yeah, Bob actually is just a little ways north, and he found the Axe Knight, so I feel reasonably confident this is the same zone that is inside Hawksness. So it looks pretty good, and you can repel, I think 4th enemy that I saw was a Droll, so you definitely don't want that, so Pav's repelling that away. If this is top 3 and you're looking at Demon Knight, Axe Knight, nerfed Red Dragon that has, minimal stop spell resist, this feels pretty good.
I think we will get the direct comparison here, because it looks like Bob's heading back to the Green Dragon. So always kind of fun to see side by side the comparisons of the grinds that we discuss.
Yeah, we'll get the head-to-head here a little bit. Bob is going to start firing some stop spells at these reds, so he'll get this one in all likelihood. Quick shout out to Queen. Thanks for raiding in. Queen, one of our racers, first-time tournament participant from the group stage. Welcome in. Thanks for the raid.
Now we're about to see level 15 here from Pav at the conclusion of this Red Dragon fight.
This is one of those seeds where we're an hour 22 minutes in, and I'm just crossing my fingers that when Hurtmore finally does show up, nobody accidentally toggles the Hurtmore instead of the Healmore, because we've been racing a seed for an hour and a half without a spell below Healmore.
Or if they do, it's like on the overworld right
Yes.
before they go into like heal in the inn or something,
Yes, yeah, just let it be not in Charlock or something. Just in the overworld is fine. You can do that.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, right, of course. Yes, I will make note of that. That's what you're hoping for. We see a lot of orange numbers there for Pav now.
Yeah, it was a pretty good level. It was 9 attack power, 9 strength, I guess I should say, 9 agility, and 13 hit points, 2 magic points. So it didn't change the heal more situation, but plenty of other stuff that you like to see. 125, of course, on these resources, not quite there, even with some fairy water. You don't really like your shot, and this grind, really whichever grind you're doing, is probably good enough that you wouldn't have to force it even if the stats were a little bit closer.
Yeah, the stats are staying in the sketchy zone right now. Nothing has gotten out of control as of yet, so Go might be, one of those tight decisions in terms of something is maybe not going to be where you want it to be. It's probably going to be agility.
Yeah, and it's honestly, this one feels like a fairly difficult seed to evaluate in terms of if you're racing this one, and you kind of look at the way it's unfolded, both if you're in Bob's shoes and in Pav's shoes. It's a little tricky to kind of say, you know what, I feel good about this, I feel bad about this, I'm not sure. On Pav's side, he had to do kind of a lot of exploration that turned out to be empty. Did the princess rescue. From Bob's standpoint, it probably feels like the experience was coming in a little bit more slowly than he wanted. I'm not sure how either racer will feel about this, and if the level is thin, we might get an indication of kind of where their thought process is right now. One of the things you mentioned early was actually just finding stray metal slimes after you had 20 strength, and you just kind of go to yourself, oh, is that going to be a problem? And if that's something you even weigh when you're trying to decide whether to go or not.
Yeah, absolutely. The metagame is a huge part of these tournament races. We can get used to playing in big, 10, even 4, 5, 10, 15 player races where it's a group and maybe you get an extra level just to make sure that you win so you don't lose a bunch of places. But in these one-on-one races, decisions that you make can be a lot different based on only having one opponent. You just need to beat one opponent, and maybe they're having the run of their life.
Yeah, exactly. So the pressure is always kind of a little background there, right? Where you're kind of thinking, this feels like it kind of went okay, but who knows? There was this spot where if it had gone better, or this spot if it had gone better. And, Bob, for instance, tries to go to the Hawksness Spike 2 separate occasions and gets sent back both times, so he doesn't really see what's there until, fairly late in the seed, and I think that would be a little unnerving. So there's just always a lot of stuff to think about when you take the seed as a whole and how your run has gone.
Yep, and the XP differential between Bob and Pav has stayed somewhat consistent here, although it seems like the efficiency with what Pav is doing in terms of needing to heal is probably going to be higher. So it seems like this, I don't know, early indications are that this might be the choice.
Yeah, it looks like that's probably the case, especially 125 now means, assuming you land the blow, you're likely to kill the Demon Knights in one shot. The Red Dragons are taking, really kind of a nominal amount of time. You do have to apply the stop spell first, so that takes a turn off it. But still, on 125, you're looking at, on average, like a 4-swing fight, which is pretty nice. Five turns for 350 is pretty good.
Yeah, I think that the Green Dragon makes like modest gains on the lead until it needs to heal, and then that's when it really starts to suffer. Just because I think you can stay on the desert a lot longer with all the heal walking and the nerfed red.
Right. Yeah, the heal walking is kind of an underrated component in terms of the resource, the way it defrays your resource usage if you're doing an overworld grind. It's something to keep in mind when you're thinking about the efficiency of it. I think that is playing out to a certain extent here.
But this is still incredibly close, and if the Go level is tight, decision making, the nerves, like you said, the nerves are a huge part of this. For whatever reason, your brain is just like, this is important more so than another race, so we're going to make choices differently for whatever reason.
Yeah, that is absolutely a thing that happens, at least speaking from my own perspective.
Both players looking pretty close to something here. We'll have to see if we get nothing or, modest gains, but modest to good gains could be enough to push somebody into Go mode.
Right.
And like you said before, getting hurt more at 16, if they decide to go at 16 and they're in Charlock or on an important fight, and it's the first time that they're, going up to use the heal more spell, it could be problematic.
Yeah, something I don't like to put out into the world, honestly, just in case, but has been known to happen, and we will get hurt more on 16, just a matter of what the stats are. 0, 13, 38, 6. Okay.
Sure. Well, Death Necklace is in play now. We would have 135 after the Death Necklace with enough HP to still be okay. So this might be the go. And we got 79 agility, which feels a lot better.
Yeah, and pretty importantly here, too, also picked up just enough magic points to tack on a 12th heal more. So 135 with some spare hit points now feels probably pretty good. Not breaking anything in Charlock, so you still have to concern yourself with a couple of Dragonlord Breath enemies, and you've got the Red Dragon with Sleep, which is a little sketchy. But with the Weak Breath behind it, those are less dangerous. So this feels reasonably good, and it looks like Pav is going to start ditching some inventory here at Breckenary.
Possibly you might be thinking about just using Fairy Water and keeping the HP and not Death Necklacing. We'll have to see, because he's not doing it for repelling.
No, yeah, you can't actually repel anything in Charlock on this defense, and it looks like Bob actually... I wonder if he's just going to Death Warp here, or if this is trying to gather some more experience. Doesn't like the level, but... No, actually, he's going to go to the Fighter's Ring, so yeah, just trying to get his resources back.
Makes sense. It's super go, and we've got a huge... This is a race, for sure.
This
Very
is
exciting.
Yeah, for sure within the Charlock margin of error. So just to kind of think about the enemies we've seen, right? We saw Wizard didn't have anything. I don't know that we've seen a Star Wyvern all seed. We know that the Werewolf has DL2. We know that the Green Dragons don't have anything. Axe Knights don't have anything. Haven't seen an Armored Knight yet. I'm not sure that we've really seen a lot of Stone Men. I think if we did, they were put to sleep pretty quickly. And then, we've got our Reds that we've already talked about, as well as the Golems have DL2, but those are neutralized by the Flute if you really have to, so...
Yeah, and now we have that 144 HP, which makes, if you keep your HP managed, making Mercy Rule runs very likely. So as long as if you get got and you just make sure that you heal, you should be okay.
Looks like Pav is going to divert to Cantlin, or at least going to try to divert to Cantlin, so Bob might have first entry here, because I don't think he has anything left to do.
Yeah, I think Pav used some resources to repel and needs to get them back.
Yeah. Spending the 2 MP cost him a heal more, so stopping at the inn is important. He'll repel before he heads in. It'll probably be about, might be a floor and a half, maybe more of difference by the time Pav gets into Charlock here.
I'm not sure if Bob is that 4 herbs that I saw in the inventory? I might have, maybe he's got 6.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I saw that too, and I wasn't sure if I'd maybe mistaken it for his key count.
But yeah, we'll have to see if there's anything that's particularly problematic, just seeing the Axe Knight release so far.
Yeah, Axe Knight, Stone Man, Werewolf, I think, top zone so far, so nothing you're especially worried about.
You just hope that you don't get ambushed by a werewolf and that it, breathes on you, but that's really all that could be getting you on this floor.
Yeah, Stone Men showing up with Weak Breath, it looks like, so those are probably a non-issue as well. And as you said, when the HP gets this big, really it's just a matter of the Tournament Edition incentivizes you even more than usual to stay topped off whenever possible, because if you just give yourself that much runway, you're going to get your guaranteed 4th run chance well before you have to burn a heal more against most enemies.
Definitely. So it's really just that Dragonlord Breath that we're most concerned with. Potentially the Sleep with the Red Dragon, but it breathes Weak Breath so often that it might not be that big of a deal.
Yeah. Bob's already into second zone. Don't think we've seen anything new yet. Really a lot of the same stuff we saw in Zone 1. And yeah, this is looking like about a floor or so gap between the 2 racers here.
Very much within potential encounter and within encounter RNG. Zone 2 doesn't look too bad at all.
No, Zone 2 looks perfectly manageable. Saw green and a wizard there, so there's not even... I think that zone's full already in terms of our knowledge. Nothing dangerous. Zone 3 werewolf, which you don't like, but pretty easy to run from. And Bob just going to walk that off most of the way through the short floor. Be in final basement here momentarily.
Axe Knight. Getting a number of encounters, but still has a decent lead here.
It looks like Star Wyvern in the final zone too, so... Yeah, as Charlocks go, this was a pretty smooth one. Bob's already on the spike.
Yep, and with the weak breath on the Stone Man, unless it's got heal more, that would be annoying. Shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Yeah. It's gonna, if it has heal more on the back side of this, it's gonna waste some time, but it's not going to really threaten the dive in any way. Okay, so here we go with Death Necklace equipped once Bob gets there, assuming that he goes with the Death Necklace, which he almost certainly will. We'll have 135 attack power, which means his range will be 8 to 17, but on the upper end of that, so you're not super likely to see any 8s on 135. And should have the right amount of heal mores, so we'll see what happens.
Yep, we'll put on the Death Necklace, get up to 135 AP. So at 79, what are we taking? We're taking 49 or 50? I think it's 49. No, it's 50.
It is 50, yeah. I think 86 is the break-even point for 48. So 82 would be 49, and anything below that's in the 4 range is 50. Joef pointing out, I didn't even see it, but Pav crit the Stone Man. He's still a fight behind here, but that just kind of squished things even closer. And as the restreamer, I'm obligated to point out, I think Bob does not run a timer on his stream, so I don't have any definitive way to sync up the racers. And Pav got a slightly later start in the seed, I think, based on what the stream was showing, so who knows? This could still be even closer than it even looks.
Playing the herb game is taking a little bit of time here, but eventually going to get in there for Pav.
And did not go to the Death Necklace, it doesn't look like. Unless I
that decision might end up costing him the race just based on the amount of time it took to get the Fairy Waters and not feeling comfortable using the Fairy Waters to repel instead of repel.
I do not have a count on Bob right now. The rolls have looked decent. But he got in without an opening attack and without a back attack, I should say, and has been good. So mathematically, might be close at the end, but no, still has a heal more left. Everybody, if you haven't done so already, get your GGs out in chat for BobPineappleMD. He's going to take the first of this best of 3 in the first round of the brackets in the 2025 Dragon Warrior Randomizer Summer Tournament. And just needs one more win to advance.
Very close race. exciting the whole way through, and different approaches for most of the race.
Yeah, it's difficult to envision a scenario in which you might have two racers play this seed as differently as they did, which is kind of a strange thing to say, but it was very different the way they went about it, and they still ended up, in mostly the same place here at the end.
Yeah, just a couple of moments where there's a lot of lead changes in this race, and just some decisions. Bob went to get a large shield in Cantlin, and that allowed Pav to kind of get and stay ahead. And then Pav decided to not use the Death Necklace and fill up on Fairy Water, and then get another refill in Cantlin before going in. And those decisions were all, costly in their own ways.
Yeah, which is to say nothing of the rest of the seed, in terms of the grind decisions versus anything else. Hard to say. This is Pav's probably last swing. Yeah, and he's going to take a death here on level 16.
Welcome in, Bob. GG, congratulations. How are you feeling?
Ooh, thank you very much. I feel good about it, although, boy, that seed didn't want me to feel very good about it.
Yeah, there was you get the armor at the start, but the strength stayed very low for a while. The HP was kind of middling, MP, but you took a while, then you got heal more, but definitely a little bit of a slower start despite the armor.
Yeah, if I get armor first thing in the first 3 chests, I assume something is going to go horribly wrong.
I was wondering at one point, since the strength was so low, when you went south kind of a little bit earlier and you saw Metal Slime down there, were you a little bit worried at all?
A little bit. I mean, I sort of made up my mind early because the strength just wasn't coming. I was like, okay, once I can, maybe punch my way through the late early game enemy roster, I may as well start looking for stuff because I just got a little antsy about wanting to try and find something that could improve my chances on the overworld.
Yeah, definitely. There was a definite divergence in the approach to the seed here as we welcome in Pav. GG, Pav. And it might be the old push to talk, but yeah, welcome on in, Pav. Let us know if you can get going. But you were all very close in this race for a long time, and really at the end there, almost neck and neck.
All right, I think we're all situated now.
All right, welcome in, Pav. GG.
Yeah, GG, Bob. I'm excited to watch that back because it seems like it was pretty close there at the end.
Yeah, GG, it definitely does.
I felt pretty good. Didn't have too many unnecessary deaths. And exploration went kind of okay. I mean, I did find a lot of nothing early, but I was gaining experience, so I didn't feel too bad. But yeah, GG, man.
Yeah, this one was kind of a story of you got a little bit more XP minded in the seed, Pav. You got out to an XP lead and were able to use that a little bit advantageously. Bob found a lot of nothing, did a lot of exploration, found a lot of nothing, but then was able to find things a little bit before you. And so there was kind of the classic exploration versus XP. And then you were closing the exploration gap, Pav, but Bob was able to kind of get the things done and get to those coordinates and then start grinding and catch back up. And you were exploring a little bit east of the swamp north there instead of finding Cantlin right away. And that was a thing that kind of cut into the lead and then kind of went back and forth a whole bunch. It was very exciting.
Yeah, once I saw Cantlin there, I knew I lost a couple minutes, traversing that whole area down there. But I can imagine if you find Cantlin pretty early, could have been in a good spot, although that golem, if you wanted to rescue the princess, may have been a problem.
Yeah, some Dragon Lord breath there for sure. You ended up settling on a desert grind with the Red Dragon, the Demon Knight, and the Axe Knight. And Bob, you were there on the Green Dragon. You took a moment to check out that golem. I wanted to ask both of you kind of what your thoughts were on approaching the XP at the end of the seed.
You first, Bob.
Sure. Yeah. For me, I liked the Red Dragons. But by the time I was in endgame grind and go mode, my thought was the consistency over the Red Dragon swinging, especially because I was at a point where, I could two swing a Green Dragon a good chunk of the time and not have to burn a heal more every time, whereas setting up a stop spell on the Red Dragon and doing all the swinging and stuff. I did check out the Golem in the end game once, but as soon as it cast that heal more, I noped right out of that, and it was Hawksness all the way at that point. I decided I needed to commit to it.
Yeah, and I was on my way to Hawksness, and I saw the Red Dragon, and that's why I stayed in that desert, really close to the town. Other good enemies in the zone. Probably use less resources than on the Green Dragon. Not really sure, but it felt right at that point with only the 93 HP I had at the time.
Yeah, and I didn't manage to grab a couple of Red Dragons actually while I was doing the Green Dragon grind because they were in Hawksness. So I grabbed a couple of those and then topped it off with the greens, and that seemed to work out okay.
Yeah, and that was in the top of my mind when I was first heading up that way to do the grind to endgame. I was like, hey, there's Red Dragons there too. Although I didn't know they were that sleep heavy, because the first couple that I killed didn't seem too heavy. But yeah, it ended up being a good grind. It didn't take too long to get to that level to go. Then it was just, hope Sharlock is nice.
Oh, thank you for that. Archfield, do you have anything that you thought of during the seed, or that you wanted to ask the racers?
No, I think that pretty well covered it. It was a fascinating one to watch if you get a chance to look at it back. It was just because, at least in part, because you both played it so differently and yet kind of ended up hitting your grind and go spots at roughly the same time, and the experience was virtually synced up. So it was a great race to watch and kind of observe, the way the different techniques are playing out.
Yeah, I felt the right move early was to grind basically your defense breaking those wolves, and then shortly after defense breaking those wolf lords. I did not know that Green Dragon was in that zone for quite a while. I felt pretty lucky that I sat on those for a good level or two.
Yeah, and anyone who knows me knows that given the opportunity to explore over grinding, taking the former every time, especially because I had armor. I actually felt a little better about the exploration push out, just because even though I didn't have a heal spell yet, the walk between each encounter was doing a fairly decent job of keeping me fueled up, more or less. So I felt okay about it in a way I probably wouldn't have had armor not been right there.
Right, yeah, I kept thinking about jutting out, but you never know what you're going to find out there. You run into those Red Dragons earlier, 50, 60 paces from start, and you keep dying trying to get to something. It's cost me multiple races before, so I like you find something good that's decent, build up some gold, get some stuff, get the experience that's free.
Yeah, definitely. And this is not one to get too down on, Pav. You were right in there until the very end. So both of you looking good. I'm looking forward to the upcoming matches. Some great DWR action shown off here tonight for sure.
Yeah, I think the only thing I flubbed that coordinates a little bit. I got confused. It was so like an hour and 20 minutes from exploring that area. It took me forever to realize that's where it was.
Well, if you guys have any last thoughts or anything that you want to get out there, or any call outs or anything like that, now's the time.
Just GG's again to Pav, and of course, thanks to the Restream crew for putting this on. Really appreciate it, and nice to start off the bracket rounds.
Yeah, absolutely, Bob. It's a pleasure playing you tonight. We have a rematch on Friday, so I'm looking forward to even this up and then finish it off early next week if I do manage to take a game off you.
Well, fantastic. Thank you all so much for being here. Thanks to the racers. And what we're going to do is we're going to stick around because I believe Cammy and Renekai is going to be doing a rebroadcast of Silly Dabbit versus Rye Guy, which is going to be coming up in about 11 minutes. So probably going to be a short turnaround for us to get that production going. So just stick around here on the DW Randomizer channel. So for all of us here tonight, Archfield doing double duty as your restreamer and commentator, Shahali doing the great tracking work. I'm Hoodie Two Shoes. Thank you all for being here, and stick around on the channel. There's more DWR.